Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to episode 38 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
Good evening. I am great.
Ready to drink some beer?
Yeah. It's my,
All right.
It's my favorite night. Podcast night.
Podcast night and drinking good beer night. Okay, so today's topic we're going to cover, it's not our list, but there's a list featuring the best beer in each state. So we're going to go through the list and kind of weigh in. But
yeah, see if we agree or not.
Yeah, and I want to see how many I've had because I'm a completionist. I like checking things off lists. Yeah.
And then the list is going to change before you can.
I know it's an endless task, but okay. So, before we begin, of course, we got to do our favorite segment, which is drinking beer. So I'm gonna introduce my beer, give some notes, and then pass it over to Steven to do the same. So today I have from Founders Brewing in Michigan their breakfast stout. So this is an oatmeal stout. It's 8.3%. And it says it's a double chocolate coffee oatmeal stout. So I'm excited. I've never had this. I've heard really good things about it.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty solid choice.
And we get a lot of Founders in my neck of the woods. I got distracted by how excited I am from pouring this beer. It's pitch black. It kind of looks like every stout. Very dark and then kind of brown, lacy head with big bubbles that quickly dissipated, but then I think it's going to kind of stick around for a while.
Yeah, that last little bit of head's hanging on there.
Yeah, it kind of hangs down around the edge. Oh, it smells like cold brew coffee and chocolate, but like a really dark baker's chocolate. There might be like a hint of cinnamon and vanilla, but the coffee is like extremely powerful. All right, cool. I'll pass it to you to introduce your beer, Steven.
I am drinking Neapolitan ice cream Sundae from Ingenious Brewing. It is a milk stout with chocolate, strawberries, and vanilla beans. So still a little gimmicky, but I'm moving back towards the beer world.
You're backing away from the juice circle of the Venn diagram.
At least it's a stout. It's a gimmicky stout, but it's a stout. Okay. But I'm super excited about this. 8.3%. Ingenious Brewing is from Humble, Texas. They do a lot of fun stuff. All right, mine's very similar to Jason's. Very dark, probably maybe a little bit more brown than his, and a little bit more head, finer bubbles, and they're kind of hanging on a little bit. Not as much lacing, but yeah, just a nice, like, fairly effervescent carbonation with a little bit of a retaining head. For me, stouts always give sort of that, like, chocolatey smell. This one's no different. It's a little bit sweeter, maybe, than what I would normally smell. Kind of a sweeter chocolate. That strawberry does come up in the nose. A little bit of vanilla in the nose. Definitely Neapolitan with like a strong chocolate aroma. And then the strawberry and vanilla just kind of float over that. Okay, I'm excited about it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay, this surprised me. I don't know why I thought it was going to be sweet. But it's not sweet at all. It's super malty, and then it's just cold brew coffee, like super intense coffee. And then baker's cocoa. It's got the chocolate, but there's not really much sweetness at all. It has a burnt, kind of bitter taste. It tastes like the burnt edge of a brownie. And then it's creamy and like thick and syrupy. It's 8.3, but the alcohol is nowhere. You can't tell at all. This is good. I recognize it's very good, but it's not what I look for in a stout. So I don't think I would actually drink this one again, but we'll see. I think it'll definitely get better as it warms up because I made the classic mistake of pulling it out of the fridge right before we started recording. So it's super cold right now, and it should be much warmer. So I give it a thumbs sideways, but it might turn into a thumbs up.
Do you want something a little bit sweeter? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Gotcha. I think you'd probably like mine better.
Okay.
Mine too has a really creamy mouthfeel, almost as if you are drinking like melted chocolate. Very dark chocolate up front, and then you get this vanilla ice cream flavor as it progresses. And then just that hint, it really is a small hint of strawberry sweetness at the end. And then this just kind of dark chocolate finish that just lingers for a long time on the palate. Like I said, I think very similar to the nose, where the chocolate was the dominant aroma. It is the dominant flavor in the beer, and then this vanilla and strawberry just kind of pops up throughout the tasting, just to remind you that this is a Neapolitan stout. But the finish is just all chocolate.
Sounds like they did a good job.
Yeah, I think so. I always think too, like, how long did it take them to get this beer right? Did it just one time and they nailed it?
I'm guessing probably not. Yeah.
But you also think about how many beers they brew, and I just think, man, how many times do they have to do it?
I feel like you probably get an instinct for things too, especially if you make like a lot of stouts or a lot of a certain style. Because if you think about like Rusty Nail, that's based off the First Nail. Is it called the First Nail?
Yeah.
So they've like perfected the base, and then they just like tinker with it, right? So they have that advantage.
Well, they nailed this one. I think you probably could have played up those other flavors a little bit more, but at the same time, I like that it feels like you're drinking a chocolate stout, but there's just these nice little adjuncts that make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, so that sounds like a good one.
Yep, thumbs up.
Thumbs up. All right, very good. Okay, well, that was our Drink a Beer segment, and next we have beer news, and this is going to be news from Steven here.
Mr. Homebrewer.
Yeah. Tell us about your latest project.
So I'll give you an update on my home brew. I brewed this last weekend. Me and my trusty 8-year-old assistant. She mostly just sat and played video games while I brewed, but
nice.
I don't think she was quite ready for how much waiting there is involved.
So much waiting.
You forget how long it takes to boil 7 gallons of water. It takes a long time to get that even up to boiling. But yeah, everything went really well. Even as I started to brew, I was still a little bit unsure of how I was going to incorporate the peanut butter powder. One of the things I used this time that I've never used before is a hop basket. It's a little basket that hangs on the side of the pot, and you can put your hops in that basket, and that way the water circulates through, and it's kind of like a filter, so it lets the hop oils out into the beer, but you don't get a lot of that vegetal material in the beer, and that way you just get less stuff at the bottom of the beer, which is kind of nice. So it was the first time I was using that, so I used that. I only had one hop addition right at the beginning of the boil. It was just a German pearl hops, I think. At first, I did one time where I took some wort off of the brew into a different pot, and I mixed in some of the powder really well, and then I poured that back into the brew, because that's one method that I saw. But then I just started to realize that it just seemed like, what's different than me just putting it into the brew? Like, there's no difference.
Yeah.
Like, might as well just mix it in while it's brewing. So I did a little bit of that with the chocolate powder. And then with the peanut butter powder, I just took out that hot basket and filled the hot basket with the peanut butter powder and stuck that in and just let the wort circulate on that for a while.
Oh, that's cool. That sounds like a lot of peanut butter powder.
Yeah, it was a lot. My whole garage smelled like a candy bar.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I went inside to grab something, and then I came back out. And, like, if you're sitting in a smell, like, you kind of get used to it, but when you leave it and you come back in, it's stronger. So I came back into the garage and I was like, oh my gosh, it smells like a Snickers bar in here.
That's amazing.
So that's pretty exciting. So everything went well, and then I used the yeast starter this time for the first time. Like a rookie that I am, I had no idea that it was going to make such a difference in my fermentation.
It was noticeable.
It was so active. A lot of times in the top of the fermenter, in the lid, you have a hole where you put a airlock. So you have a little escape route for the CO2 to come, but nothing can come back down.
It's like a one-way valve.
Yeah. You can also do what's called a blow tube, which is more of just a bigger piece of tubing coming out the top, and you just run that down into like a glass of water. And I did that. I just forewent the airlock, because the last few times I brewed, I've used the blow-off tube just because it's a little bit more effective. Well, this fermentation was so active that it even blew off my blow-off tube. Like, that wasn't enough.
Really?
Shot the plug right out.
Oh my
and
goodness.
like overflowed onto the lid. But so of course I was freaking out because I thought it was ruined. But luckily everything I Googled was like, nope, you didn't ruin your beer. It's fine. There's so much CO2 being forced out of that hole that there's literally
nothing's going back down.
Yeah, there's no chance of anything coming in. So just clean it up, sanitize your plug, put it back in. But yeah, the fermentation was just absolutely insane. There was just this huge layer of yeast foam at the top. It was just awesome. So it's slowed down now, so we're kind of into that slow phase where the yeast are just kind of cleaning up what they're going to clean up in terms of sugars. In a few days I will take, in the system I don't have to rack it to a different fermenter for my secondary. It has a release valve at the bottom. I can take all that stuff off the bottom. So that's what you want to do, is you want to take off all that yeast byproducts called trub. Take off all the trub. And then you're going to do another 5 days of what's called a secondary fermentation. At that time, I'll also add the peanut butter extract.
Oh, nice.
Let that sit in for the secondary fermentation. And then we'll rack it to the keg. So about a week from now, I'll rack it to the keg, spend a few days carbonating it, and then we'll pour it and see how it is.
Do you have a name for this chocolate peanut butter creation?
So I did. I came up with a name. I'm going to call it my No Wrong Way Peanut Butter Cup Porter. And that's a nod to the old Reese's peanut butter commercials where they would say, like, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's.
Ah, very good. I remember those. Yeah, and they have, like, people would eat them in weird ways.
Yeah, they'd be like, this is so-and-so, dolphin trainer.
Yeah.
How she eats a Reese's, she would, like, jump out of the water and eat it. Or this Australian guy, like, took a bite out of it and then, like, threw it like a boomerang and then finished the rest.
I remember there was one with, like, Count Dracula, and he would, like, drink the peanut butter out, and it just showed the cup with two, like, you know, the vampire holes in it.
Holes in it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so No Wrong Way Peanut Butter Cup Porter. That's my official name.
That's exciting. I hope it turns out.
I hope so, too. I did forego... I added the vanilla at Flame Out.
Oh.
Yeah, so a little bit of vanilla in there. I initially thought I might use some salt adjunct, too. I didn't do that. I didn't want to mess with that.
Plus, salt seems tricky.
Yeah, plus there's a little bit of salt in the peanut butter powder, too.
Okay.
So I figured it was overkill to add any more. So.
Yeah, I feel like salt is something you can mess up pretty easily.
Yeah.
Whereas peanut butter powder, maybe not. All right, cool. I'm excited. I hope it's good. You'll have to let us know.
I'll drink it on the podcast.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You have to do it for the beer drinking segment. And then you can critique it. Critique your own brew.
Yeah.
I hope it gets a thumbs sideways.
I'll be pretty harsh.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. All right, well, we can get to our main topic, which is the best beer in each state. So this list comes from Beer Info. And Steven, you know what this is. I don't even know how to say it.
Zymergy? Yeah, I don't know either.
Okay.
All I know is that it's the official magazine of the American Homebrewers Association.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I used to subscribe. I don't think I ever read it, but
you just get them and stack them on your coffee table.
Well, I was a member of the Homebrewers Association, mainly because you get discounted tickets to the Great American Beer Festival if you are. Okay. So you get like pre-sale access and you get discount. So that's why I was a member. But because I was a member, I got access to this magazine and like basically all the archives of this magazine. I really should probably start looking at it now that I'm trying to get back more into home brewing, because I think it would be interesting. But
yeah, I think you might enjoy it.
But yeah, they came out with this list. I think they do this every year, the best beers in America by state. Yeah.
So we're going to discuss their picks.
I looked at a couple different lists in preparation for this episode, and there was another list that basically just took the Beer Advocate ratings and took the highest rated beer from Beer Advocate in each state. The only problem with that is that it was very, very IPA and stout heavy.
Not surprising.
Right. That's just what's going to happen. Maybe a couple wild ales mixed in there. That's about it.
Did I ever update you? I don't know if we talked about it on the podcast. Beer Advocate talked about doing another top 250 list that doesn't have... They have to be in like year-round production.
Did they ever come out with that?
They responded to the thread though. Even though it was really popular, they said they're not going to try to do it right now. Which is a bummer. But yeah, the premise was they're going to have two top 250 lists. One was everything. And the second one was like only beers that are basically produced all the time. So it's not like these one-off, once-a-year, super
Sure.
special beers.
Sure.
So I was kind of bummed because I would really like to see that list too. But
Yeah, and I think that played into a little bit of the differences between these two lists too. I think that this Homebrewers Association list gives a little bit more, scores more towards those beers that are kind of available year round a little bit. So from what I can tell.
All right, cool. You want to talk about some of these?
Yeah, let's do it.
So first of all, well, I don't know Alabama. It's Good People Brewing Co.
I don't think I could name a single brewery from Alabama.
Me either. But now I want to try this one.
Except for Good People Brewing, I can name them.
Now you can. But no, I wanted to talk about Alaska because it's a little bit of a shocker.
Okay, so we're just going to skip over Alabama.
Well, we can talk about it. I don't know anything about.
Yeah, Snake Handler Double IPA. Apparently it's the best beer in Alabama.
It's the 187th top ranked IPA on Beer Advocate. So if that's their best, it makes me a little nervous. No, I won't throw too much shade at Alabama. I'm sure it's great.
Sure, it's great.
Alaskan Brewing Company won, and I'm shocked it's not Anchorage Brewing.
I am too, actually, and that's one of the differences between the two lists. I will mention back to Alabama real quick. The Beer Advocate list is El Gordo, which is a Russian Imperial Stout. That's from Good People Brewing too.
Oh, okay. So they must make all the best beer.
It might just be the only brewery in Alabama. I'm not sure, but they're making some decent beer.
Yeah, they make some good stuff. So
Alaska. So what's on the Zymergy's list?
So their list is Alaskan Smoked Porter, which is Alaskan Brewing's smoked porter.
And I think that that did show up on a couple of the lists. I looked at about 4 or 5 different lists. That one routinely showed up as Alaska's best beer.
I want to see if I can get this now. It says it's rotating / seasonal, so I don't think they make it year round. But yeah, it has a pretty good score. Interesting.
Yeah, definitely an interesting style.
Yeah, smoked porter.
On the Beer Advocate list, it's Blessed, which is an Anchorage Brewing Stout. Many of their stouts are very highly ranked and overpriced.
Very expensive. Insanely expensive.
Yeah, we're talking $60, $70 for a 12-ounce bottle.
Yeah, it's beyond what I would want to pay for a beer. Although I'm embarrassed to admit I did buy a bottle of Fundamental Observation this weekend because you corrupted me.
Well, I saw that it was available.
I would have never known. I would have been happy.
Yeah, just ignorance is bliss.
Exactly.
Ignorance is money in your bank account.
I looked at my phone. I had a missed call and a text. That's how I knew it was serious.
This is more important than a text message.
I was like,
and then I called out. I was like, oh, Jason never answers his phone.
Yeah, I was worried when I saw a missed call from him. I was like, why did he call? What an era we live in where no one, you only call like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It like catches people off guard.
Gosh, someone dying?
Yeah. But I was happy to know it was just an opportunity to spend too much money on a bottle of beer.
The only 2 reasons I call you is I'm dying or you can get Fundamental Observation.
Yeah. That's super funny. Okay, so I'm going to keep an eye out. It says for the smoked porter, they only make it on November 1st each year. So it's probably around.
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah, probably right now.
So I'll keep an eye out. Arkansas, do you know anything about this? It's Fallen Queen, which is a Belgian wit beer from New Province Brew. And I looked up just because I liked the name, and the can art is super cool. I don't know.
Fallen
it's like,
Queen.
Yeah.
Belgian wit. That's pretty impressive for a wit beer to make the top beer of the
Yeah,
state.
that is impressive.
And again, that's why I like this list a little better because it sort of rounded out on the styles.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Because the Beer Advocate list is just another Imperial Stout from Ozark Beer Company in Arkansas.
Oh, okay. Ozark's in Arkansas. Okay. Yeah, this is kind of funny because I heard a lot of these breweries, but I wasn't 100% sure what state they're in. Okay, California is no surprise. Pliny the Elder from Russian River Brewing Company.
And Pliny the Younger on the Beer Advocate list.
Okay. They went with the younger.
Which goes to my theory that they may have weighted a little bit more towards the beers that are available.
Yeah, because it's really hard.
A little more available, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pliny the Younger is pretty restrictive. You have 2 weeks basically to get it.
And that's it. Huh? Yeah.
And then the few kegs they send around the states.
Yeah, I like this list. I kind of like the accessible. Like, these are still amazing beers, but you can actually get them. Okay. Colorado is Odell IPA from Odell Brewing.
Oh, well, let me go back to California.
Oh, okay.
It is a little sad that California has to go against like Alabama on this list. California doesn't get like 6 picks.
They should.
Because Firestone Parabola, I mean, they have to make the list. I'm trying to think what else like would absolutely have to make this, or could be like a runner-up to Planet of the Younger.
There's a lot of stuff in California. Maybe I just feel that way because I live here.
Yeah, or Old Rasputin from North Coast.
Mm-hmm.
I think that one's probably a runner-up.
And then you have like Modern Times. They have some. You can never find them.
Fundamental Observation.
Yeah, you have Bottle Logic, but you have like Modern Times they bring insane stuff to the beer festival.
Yes.
And then you'll never ever see it like in a can though. And I'm like, what are these beers? This is like mind blowing beers. And then at the store they just have they're like super
Fruitlands.
Yeah, standard.
Tropical Goza.
All the cans look exactly the same.
One hazy IPA.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in California.
So anyway, you could do the top 50 beers in California alone.
One from each county.
Yeah, and Colorado actually kind of the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Honestly, what was the one? Odell?
Yeah, it's funny because you have New Belgium. But yeah, Odell IPA, which I've never had. It's like an orange can. Have you had that?
What's it called?
It's just called IPA.
No, I've never had it.
Low risk name. We talked about that. It's
low effort.
Low effort, but it's descriptive though, so you know what you're getting.
Yeah, Colorado is one of those states. So like I said, I looked at about 4 or 5 lists. One list had La Folie on the list from New Belgium. This beer advocate list has Medianoche from Weldworks.
Oh yeah, Weldworks.
Which is essentially fundamental observation from Colorado. I mean, it's cleans up in the stout category in many different beer festivals and beer competitions. So yeah, Medianoche is a strong contender for best beer in Colorado, but interesting that they would choose Odell IPA.
Yeah, I wonder why. I mean, it's highly ranked. It's kind of cool. It says that they use 9 different hop varietals to make that beer.
Nice.
Connecticut is Cool Ship Lager, which is a Czech style blonde ale from OEC Brewing, which I've never heard of.
Yeah, again, that's a interesting choice.
Yeah, these are kind of like a little bit off the wall.
Yeah, they're like sleeper picks.
Yeah, I like that.
Insider picks from the Home Brewers Association. And they may be leaning towards independent breweries too.
You know what? I have a feeling maybe that's what's happening.
Not that...
No, wait, they can't be, because the next one is Dogfish Head, which is owned. We figured out that's owned.
Okay. So, that's interesting. Maybe they're leaning that way.
Yeah,
but they don't.
Very mysterious list.
But they have few choices in Delaware.
They had to go with Dogfish Head. So Dogfish Head is the 120-minute IPA, which I think I've had all the variants, because there's 60, 90, and 120, right?
Yes.
And the 120 is like, it's like drinking, I don't know, it's like something else entirely.
So do you know that people age that beer?
I'm not surprised. It's basically like a barley wine at that point. Like,
yeah, I think it even says on the beer that you can age it, like it's okay to age or whatever. Because that's not usually the case with IPAs. But every once in a while on craft beer Reddit or like beer forums, you will see people who are opening their like 2-3-year-old Dogfish Head 120-minute IPAs. Very wacky.
And as a callback to the old Hop Wars, at least this version, whatever I'm pulling up on Beer Advocate, it's rated at 120 IBU. So you don't see that anymore either. Because didn't we figure out Optimum is only like 80 now?
Yeah, it's not so much a badge of honor anymore.
So you want to blast from the past, get yourself a 120-minute IPA. Okay,
now
Florida.
That's a long boil.
It's 2 hours continuous, and they say they continuously add hops, which is insane. And then they dry hop it after that.
I guess that would keep you busy for the 2 hours of boiling at least.
Yeah, you wouldn't be bored.
Doing your hop schedule.
You could just drop like one little like handful like every minute or something. I don't know. Actually, I want to see a video of them making that. I'm sure it's a machine, but okay, Florida High Ally, which we've had. And I've had like 4 times now, and I think this beer is bad.
I don't like it either. Why don't we like that beer? It's like so highly rated.
I don't like it. It's not good, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I was telling Jason in the pre-roll that I had no idea the high lie. I didn't know what that, like, where that name came from. I didn't realize it was a sport. Jason knew.
I knew only because it's in Mad Men, which is like
Yeah.
one of my favorite shows of all time.
Yeah, I don't even know where I came across that, but probably on TikTok or something. But high lie, it's a sport. Look it up. Apparently, in Cigar City, they're from Florida. It's basically only, well, as far as in the States, it's only popular in Miami. It's like
cool. So it's like
the only foothold it has in the United States is in Miami.
Yeah, I don't know. In the show, they basically work with the ad agency. That's kind of the focal point of the show, to try to make it popular in the United States. So I don't know if that was true to history or not, but yeah, it's a sport and people play it.
I drove by the other day cricket fields.
Mm-hmm.
They were like expanding. It's like the sign said, like, soon there would be 11 cricket fields in this complex. It's like,
That's incredible.
Is cricket taking off in Texas?
Maybe. Cricket's like half sport, half festival, though.
Yes.
Because doesn't a game take like 3 days or something?
It can,
insane
yeah.
like that? Yeah.
I still don't even understand the sport.
It's like I don't have the attention span to watch a baseball game. There's no way in the universe I'm watching a whole cricket game if that's how long they take.
So high lie. I'm gonna start playing.
Yeah.
Cigar City did win on they took best beer on my list too, but that was for their double barrel aged
Hana, is it? Yeah, how do you say it? I had a feeling.
or whatever, yeah.
Because that's super high ranked. That was one of the beers we ran to go taste the first time we went to the beer festival. Because I wanted to try it. Hunapoo. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of like this list. Again, I know I'm repeating myself, but a lot of sleepers on here. Okay, Georgia, which I know nothing about as far as beer goes. Has a brewery called Creature Comforts, and theirs is Tropicali, I think. I don't know. I can't pronounce anything. It's Tropic and then A with the accent Lia. Tropicali.
What kind of beer is that?
It's a IPA. It's actually the 9th highest ranked American IPA on Beer Advocate.
Really?
So it must be good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
It says ripe passion fruit and citrus hop aroma lead to a full fruit-forward hop flavor that washes over the palate with subtle bitterness. Now I want to try this one.
Yeah, my list has a Mexican Siberius Maximus, which is a Russian Imperial Stout from Wrecking Bar Brew Pub in Georgia. Again, another one I just never heard of.
Yeah, but an Imperial Stout, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my list is very stout heavy.
Okay,
Georgia...
Hawaii. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Georgia and Alabama are just not really known for their craft beer.
Hey, this one's ranked pretty high. Maybe they just don't distribute.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, Hawaii is Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing, which we found out is owned by some giant, massive corporation, too.
Yeah.
In our previous episode.
So yeah, I think they were AB InBev, I think.
AB InBev, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
So they're Budweiser.
Yeah, you didn't like this pick.
No, the best Kona brew. There's two. There's two beers from Kona Brewing that are amazing. The first one is Hanalei, and it's a Pog Juice IPA. So Pog Juice is passion fruit, orange, guava, and they like executed it really well. Like, I'm not gonna say it's like a mind blowing beer, but you feel like you definitely get the Pog Juice experience, which is if you've never had Pog Juice, go find it if they have it at your store. It's so good.
Well, those are like perfect IPA adjuncts anyway.
Yes, right. Exactly. And it kind of captures like the feeling, because Pog Juice is really big in Hawaii. So to me, that like speaks more to the region it's brewed. And then there's one called Wailu Wheat, probably butchering these pronunciations, but that's another ale. I don't think it's a full IPA. It's a wheat beer, and they use passion fruit, and that one's really good. So those two, I think, if you're going to get something from Kona, look for those two. The
one that I saw pop up on quite a few lists was Maui Brewing's Imperial Coconut Porter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of breweries in Hawaii. There's a Kauai Beer Company, I think. Okay. I think they're the only brewery on Kauai Island. But
Idaho.
Helm of Awe Robust Oatmeal Porter from Mad Swede Brewing. So never heard of.
Yeah. So I will say, last summer I went to Idaho because that's where my brother lives, And
Cool.
I got to get some craft beer in Idaho. So a little shout out to Kodo Brewing because their beer was fantastic. I would give you my vote for your double IPA was fantastic. So I'll give you my vote for that because that's all I know of Idaho beer. But I know this Grand Teton Brewing is pretty good too. I've heard their name a few times. They have a Doppelbock that made my list, the Beer Advocate list. So
I think this is an
interesting style.
This is a nepotism pick, Steven.
Yeah, why?
Because if you go on Beer Advocate, it only has this beer, the Helm of Awe, only has 6 ratings.
Oh,
so
wow.
It can't even be officially ranked because you need a minimum number of ratings. So I don't know how they landed on this one. Someone called it a favorite.
6 ratings on Beer Advocate. That's not very well known.
But somehow it's the best beer in Idaho.
Up and coming, maybe. Somebody knows something nobody else does. Interesting, the Doppelbock made the Beer Advocate list. That's one of the few deviations from the IPA stout world. So impressive. Well, now we're on Illinois, which really is basically Chicago. What's the best beer in Chicago?
What's this?
It's just a dominating market.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what? It's let's see. On my list, it's of course, Goose Island Beer Co. And it's their Bourbon County brand stout.
Yeah, same on my list. I think that's a pretty universal choice.
That makes sense. Well, that's such a good brewery, too, that I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Goose Island. Another great example that even being owned by a big beverage conglomerate, you can still make world-class beer.
That's correct.
In amazing craft styles. So.
Okay, Indiana, we've had this one. I brought you this for the first time. This is one of my cool coworkers. Maybe it wasn't.
Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Zombie Dust from Three Floyds. Very cool can art. One of the coolest.
The American Pale Ale. Still one of my favorite styles of all time. Zombie Dust and Pseudo Sue are the kind of rivals that will switch places on top of the American Pale Ale category.
They're like battling it out.
They go back and forth between 1 and 2. I can't remember if Two Hearted. I think they count that as an IPA, not a Pale Ale.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that, and it's listed as an American IPA.
Okay.
So it's funny that you mentioned Pseudo Sue because Indiana is followed by Iowa, where Toppling Goliath resides, and they pick Pseudo Sue.
That's interesting. I'm surprised they didn't pick a Morning Delight or Assassin.
This list actually is like almost sans all stouts. Yeah. It's kind of funny.
They snubbed the stouts, huh?
What was on your list for Iowa?
Kentucky Brunch Brand Stout.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Huh, that's very interesting.
Yeah, they have that one, Morning Delight, and Assassin are 3 of the highest rated stouts overall in the country, and they're all, brewed by Toppling Goliath. So
I want to go to Toppling Goliath. Didn't we figure out it's like in the middle of nowhere?
It really is. Yeah, it's like we could go there, but there's nothing else to do.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we'll just go there 3 days in a row.
There we go. I'm down. Let's do it.
Drink everything they have. Yeah, I know. Not a bad plan.
Okay. Kansas has Free State Brewing, and it's their Oatmeal Stout.
Okay, yeah.
It's just called Oatmeal Stout.
Okay. Free State?
Yeah, Free State Brewing.
Yeah, they made my list too, but with the barley wine.
Okay, so they must make some pretty good stuff. Kentucky is Braxton Brewing, Tropic Flare, New England IPA.
Okay, cool. I've had a few things from Braxton. I do like their stuff. They make a lot of fun sours. I had a peach cobbler sour from Braxton. I've had some duds from them too, but the peach cobbler sour was very much towards the top of my list of favorite pastry sours.
Nice.
Sometimes it's hard to get the combination of fruit and cinnamon and try to tie that into with the pie crust malt bill, but they did it very well with that beer. So
cool. I feel like I've had something. That name seems so familiar. And
I think you have.
Interesting. So that's Kentucky. Oh, Louisiana is Ghost in the Machine from Parish Brewing. We've talked about that before.
That's so solid. Louisiana does have a pretty good craft beer scene. They make up for Georgia and Alabama. Representing the South. But yeah, Parish is amazing. They have a Beta as well. It makes some great beer. Anyway, there's some good beer in Louisiana, but I just don't think you get better than Parish Ghost in the Machine. It's so good.
What did your list have? For
same Ghost in the Machine.
Oh, okay. Nice.
I think they specifically have the double dry hopped version, but
okay. Maine has Oh, Allagash is in Maine.
Okay.
I did not know that. And they picked their Belgian wit.
Man, Allagash could probably dominate the category just with their Cool Ship series and Allagash White. Is that Allagash White?
Allagash White. It's white.
Yeah, so good. The other big one in Maine is Maine Beer Company.
Okay.
Dinner IPA is the one that is on my list. I've never had dinner IPA. I've had lunch IPA, and I did not like it.
Really? Why not? Do you remember?
I don't know. It was a malty IPA, and I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird because it's from Maine, but it's a very, very West Coast style. So just very malty and very bitter. I just didn't like it.
Okay.
Yeah, but never had dinner. Dinner's much harder to find.
Interesting. It's like a elder-younger kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Maryland. This beer is called Sweet Baby Jesus. It's a chocolate and peanut butter porter from Duclaw Brewing.
Duclaw, yeah, they were the one that made my glitter beer that I drank a couple weeks ago.
Oh, okay, nice. You've had a Duclaw.
Yeah, I'm seeing them more actually. Just over the last few weeks, I've seen them pop up at my local grocery store and my local beer shop. So I don't know whether I'm just more aware of them now, or maybe they just started distributing more to Texas.
So Massachusetts has Treehouse Brewing.
Yeah, it's not even a competition. I mean, there's Trillium too,
and then
you just can't win.
Treehouse is. I wanted this so bad. It's their Julius American IPA. It was the one they picked.
See, mine had King Julius on the list. I've had Julius.
Okay. Wait, you've had Julius? Didn't one of your coworkers?
Yeah, my coworkers brought it for me. Yeah.
So jealous.
It was very, very good.
It's
very
the 7th highest ranked IPA, New England IPA. That's 100 on Beer Advocate.
Yeah.
And that's based on 4,963 ratings.
Yes, it's perfect. There aren't a lot of beers that are perfect, but that one is.
It's pretty awesome.
It's kind of funny when you end up drinking one of those beers that is scored 100 on Beer Advocate. You really do kind of, when you drink it, realize, that's a perfect beer. You know, like that's the only way they get that score is that they're balanced, they're flavorful, they're complex. You know, that's how you get that ranking. And you just, when you finally get to drink one, you start to realize like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Well, I like it because they put a different affix to the score. And I don't know where the breakdown occurs. Like, I don't know where you get into this affix, but it's world class on the 100. And I think that might kick in at like 96 or above or something. And then you get that world class score. Speaking of world class, Michigan, which Michigan has a ton of good beer. But Two Hearted Ale from Bell's.
Yeah, that's definitely playing to the availability.
Isn't that the most popular beer in America? Or craft beers?
Yeah, that one, and I think Sierra Nevada kind of duke that out. They kind of go 1 and 2 on that.
And I love Two Hearted Ale.
Yeah, I don't like it as much as I like Sierra Nevada.
Really? Oh, I would take Two Hearted Ale over Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, I think. Wait, which Sierra Nevada are you comparing it to? Just the Pale Ale?
Yeah, just the Pale Ale.
Yeah. Maybe it's the grass is greener, but I would take Two Hearted. I've only had it twice.
Going back to our roots there.
Yeah, back to Michigan.
You're the Michigan boy.
My heart is Michigan.
I'm the California kid.
That's really funny. Okay, Minnesota is Extra Pale Ale from Summit Brewing.
Okay, Minnesota. I don't think of craft beer when I think of Minnesota.
No.
They do have a Surly Brewing. That's on my list. They have an Abrasive Ale IPA.
Okay.
It's a 9.2% IPA. That's impressive.
Oof, that's powerful. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Mississippi.
Probably skip over them.
From Southern Prohibition Brewing Company, Paradise Lost. You're throwing so much shade at the South.
I know, I'm sorry.
What if we have
I live in the South.
Some listeners in the South. Yeah, you live in Texas. What are you doing?
Hey, Texas has a lot of good beer.
Okay, this is IPA, New England IPA. It has a 92 on Beer Advocate, and that's outstanding.
Okay,
so not quite world class, but outstanding. I'm sure that one's good. Missouri, and I've had this, Boulevard Brewing Company, Tank 7 Farmhouse Ale, and I hated it. It's because it's a Saison.
Just don't like that style.
I don't like that style. And I think I declared at the very beginning of our podcast I was going to challenge myself to start liking it, but I've made almost no progress.
How many have you tried?
Like, that's the problem. Like, if I go to the store or whatever, and I'm excited to go buy a beer, I don't want to buy something I don't like.
Yeah, and this is the problem, too, because The one that you really need to try is the Saison du Pont.
Yeah.
And it's like a big bottle, and it's like, I don't know, it's probably $20. It's like, you want to spend
The
20
problem
bucks
is
on
I
a
need
big
a
bottle
gateway.
of something that you're probably not gonna like. I mean, it's the most true to
Really?
like classic style. So is that a gateway or is that too complex?
No, for me, the gateway is like I need something that's affordable that I can just like force myself to drink over and over and over again until I like it. So email us your suggestions.
Yeah, if you know of a
Contact
good
us.
affordable Saison. I need the great value Saison. Okay?
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Walmart Saison.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like what's the equivalent of Sierra Nevada Pale Ale for Saison?
Saison du Pont.
No, that's too expensive and the bottle's too big. Maybe I'll buy one and I'll like pour it into a bunch of little Tupperwares and I'll put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And then I'll just drink a shot every day until I like it.
You need the Boulevard Brewing Saison.
Yeah,
Oh, you said you've had
I've
it.
had
though.
it. It
You've
comes
had
in
it,
a
so you
well,
like it.
maybe it doesn't. But I think it comes in a big bottle.
They all do.
I don't know if you get six
It's a
packs.
fancy beer.
Yeah, they don't
It's
just
a
put
fancy
it in
beer.
6 packs.
No,
All right, well I'll keep working.
it's got the
on it.
cork and everything.
It's got a cork in it. That's how you know it's fancy. Okay,
So
Montana.
on my list,
what's on
on my
your
list,
list?
I have Abraxas from Perennial Artisan Ales.
Oh,
Yeah.
I tried that and hated it.
Really?
But
Abraxas?
Yeah, I tried it on the podcast. It's
Wait, you drank Abraxas on the podcast?
Yeah,
No, you didn't.
I did. I gave it a thumbs down.
Okay, I'll have to look back at that.
What I
Fact
learned
check
about
that.
it. So I remember my complaints too. It's first of all, it's not barrel aged, so
Okay. So the barrel aged Abraxas is the one that's on my list.
I think I would like the barrel aged version. I think I thought I was getting the barrel aged version, and I was not. And then it wasn't what I was looking for. And actually, Abraxas reminds me of a lot of what I'm drinking right now. So on paper, it has everything I like because it has chili peppers, vanilla, cinnamon. But because it wasn't barrel aged, it's not like that huge. I don't know. It's not like a super strong, punchy version of it.
It's always going to lack complexity.
Yeah. So I think it was not that I hated it. We could go back and listen to what I said, but I was disappointed, and it wasn't what I was expecting. But I understand why that's on there. That's very highly ranked.
I just saw it today actually on Tabor. I think they had it, and they
You
had
reinstalled Tavor?
I still get the emails. I don't have the app. I took the app off my phone, but I still get the emails. So I still have like my finger on the pulse of Tabor just to see what's going on, but I don't have the ability to quickly buy something if when it pops up. That was the problem before with the app. You're like, oh yeah, that, or like I gotta have that, and you buy it reflexively.
We had a household change, and I am no longer in the financial position to have the Tavor app on my phone. We are not a dual income family right now, so yeah, no Tavor. When we go back,
only fundamental observation.
Yeah, exactly.
Rare releases.
When and if my wife goes back to work, depending on all our family planning stuff, I'll put Tavor back on my phone. But it's a very expensive app to have on your phone.
Yes, for sure.
So for now, it is off. Okay, Montana Moose Drool American Brown Ale. I've had this.
That was on a bunch of lists I saw.
And you can get this. I could walk into the store today and buy this. It's widely available.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that a brown ale made the list.
Yeah, that is really cool. I do like this list because of the diversity. And I always say brown ales and red ales are criminally underrepresented in the world of craft beer. Okay, Nebraska has Fairy Nectar New England IPA from Cross Strain Brewing.
So good.
You've had this?
Yes, such a good beer. It came up on Tabor a long time ago. When I was active on Tabor, it came up. And I was already somewhat aware of it because I was so interested in the Great American Beer Festival Hazy IPA category. I was just obsessed with who was winning that category. So it was a new category, and it was there were so many entries. I was just obsessed with who won that award. And so I think they won second or third place one year, and then it came up on Tabor, and I was like, okay, I have to try this, and it did not disappoint. It's solid. I put it right there with Ghost in the Machine. Like,
really?
It'd be really interesting to do a side by side with those two beers and see. Throw maybe juicy bits from WeldWorks in there. See if I could even like pick one out from the other. But yeah, very solid hazy IPAs.
Go Nebraska. Okay, Nevada. I think I've had this. Revision So Revision Brewing's Revision IPA.
Okay, and it's just their flagship IPA, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Revision they do a lot of good stuff. There are a lot of good hoppy styles. They're on my list too for their Disco Ninja IPA. So
Disco Ninja, that's awesome. New Hampshire has a beer from Schilling Beer Company. It's their Abbey style triple.
Erastus style you don't hear every day.
Yeah. I don't know how easy this is to get, but I'd like to try that. What's on your list for New Hampshire?
Popularization IPA from Stoneface Brewing.
Huh, okay.
Yeah, not a lot of well-known breweries out of New Hampshire. But.
So, New Jersey has Kane Brewing Company Head High American IPA.
Okay, nice. I have that same brewer, but Sunday Brunch Porter, Imperial Porter.
Okay. This has a really good score, 95.
I'll have to check out Kane Brewing next time I'm in New Jersey.
Yeah, or if anywhere like in New York, you could probably get it too. New Mexico has Elevated IPA from
La Cumbre.
La Cumbre.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I can't pronounce anything. I don't know. You should be taking point on this. This is like at my expense. It's not that funny.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. So this is an American IPA.
I've had a lot of beer too. Okay.
This is the 16th highest ranked American IPA. This is 100 IBU.
Oh, dang. They have not abandoned the hop war.
Yeah, I want to try these.
Clinging to the glory days.
I want to get my hands on one of these. This is from the glory days. These are like the OGs of the hop wars.
Yeah, they have another one that's on my list. It's Project Dank IPA.
Okay.
So.
And it's same brewery?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, New York.
A lot of brewery crossover.
Yeah, that's very interesting. New York has 3 philosophers. This is one of my favorite beers because I have a lot of nostalgia for it. I used to drink this very rarely with a friend at work who was really into craft beer, like way before I was into it, and he was obsessed with 3 philosophers. So, yeah.
I feel like it's kind of like Brother Thelonious.
Yes.
You ever had Brother Thelonious?
I have.
Like, who drinks that?
I like.
You gotta be ready to warm up.
Yeah, you have to be in the mood for this kind of beers.
Those are very strong beers. Mine is Other Half Double Dry Hopped Double Mosaic Dream.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Other Half.
You've had Mosaic Dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Other Half is no joke.
Yeah, they don't mess around.
Okay, North Carolina, Burial Beer Company Surf Wax IPA.
Okay, yeah, Burial ranks high a lot.
This has an insane can art.
Who's your beer from North Dakota?
North Dakota is from Prairie Brothers Brewing Company, and it's their Hazy Amber Ale, Radagast.
Interesting. A hazy amber. That is a style you do not hear about.
Yeah, I would love to try this. What did you have?
So I had Freak Parade IPA from Drecker Brewing. I've had a couple things from Drecker. They do I think it's their Brains series. It's a smoothie style sour series.
Oh, yeah, Drecker. I've had a couple of their sours.
And then I think they do the Slang du Jour series, which is another like smoothie sour series. It's more like pastry sour, so they do like blueberry crumble kind of, like cinnamon stuff. But yeah, that's kind of cool. I feel like I've had maybe one IPA from them too that was decent. North Dakota, bringing the craft beer.
Yeah. Ohio is Fatheads Brewery Headhunter IPA.
Okay, Ohio. That's again not a state I associate with craft beer. Breweries are everywhere now, so.
Yeah, I think no matter where you live, you can get good beer.
A side note on North Dakota, they drink the most beer out of every state per capita.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Not craft beer, but beer.
Just beer.
Yeah, just beer.
Just beer. Is it North or South Dakota that has the Mount Rushmore?
South Dakota, I think.
South Dakota, okay. So they don't even have that. I've been to both North and South Dakota, I believe.
I've
been to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I think it's in South Dakota.
Oklahoma has Prairie Artisan Ales.
If that's wrong, I'm going to edit it out. So we don't sound like idiots.
I feel like it's South Dakota.
Okay, good.
I don't feel like most people would know. Mount Rushmore is underrated as well.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's mind-boggling. You're like driving through a mountain range and then you just turn a corner and there's like heads.
Or giant faces. Yeah.
And your brain just breaks.
Yeah, it's kind of impressive.
Definitely, I recommend it. Okay. I lost-
Oklahoma. Prairie
yeah,
Artisan
bomb.
Ales.
Bomb Imperial Stout. Heck yeah. Cherry Bomb is my preference, but I would drink Bomb as well anytime.
They just make such good stuff.
Yes.
They just do cool things. Like with pumpkin ale, there's so many like pumpkin beers and stuff this time of year in October, and they made a pumpkin sour, like it's so cool. And
Yeah.
they have a Christmas sour out right now.
That's amazing.
Crocodile, which I found one in a single, so I got one of those. They're just they just do fun stuff. They do fun little fruity sours, but then they also make these amazing barrel aged stouts. So
yeah, that's amazing. It's
always
cool when
impressive.
they're going like against the grain, kind of.
Yeah.
Oregon is where Deschutes Brewing is, and they made the list with their fresh squeezed IPA.
That's one of those that definitely fits into the category of like widely distributed, easy to get, but like a very solid IPA.
Mm-hmm.
That is something I would never buy.
Why?
I mean, I already have a hard time buying anything in like a 6-pack or like just a large pack of beer. I certainly have a hard time buying IPAs. I don't know. I just have this thing like I basically drink IPAs on tap.
I see.
And
we've talked about this before.
Yeah, I very rarely buy them because I just don't know like how old they are, or if they're still good. I don't know. So anyway, I see it all the time. I just would never buy it.
All right, Pennsylvania. Prima Pils, German style Pilsner from Victory Brewing. I've definitely had things from Victory. I have not had this one.
Yeah, I can like see their can in my head, but I don't think I've ever had anything from them.
What was on your list for Pennsylvania?
Actually, I have a Lambic from Bullfrog Brewery in Pennsylvania. It's kind of cool.
Never heard of that.
Not a true Belgian Lambic. A Pennsylvania Lambic.
Lambic style. Rhode Island from Gray Sail Brewing Company, Captain's Daughter, double IPA. That's kind of a cool name.
It's another state where you're like probably grasping at straws to find a brewery.
Rhode Island is tiny.
More than one.
Very, very, very tiny state. It's 1,200 square miles. Okay, so South Carolina from Legal Remedy Brewing, which is a kind of a funny name. Their white stout called World Court.
White stout. Making the
I want
list.
to try
That
that.
is crazy.
Yeah, that's wild. A white stout. It has an 89 on Beer Advocate, which is very good. So not quite outstanding.
Oh wow. Yeah, and the thing is too, like South Carolina has Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Westbrook makes some pretty good stuff. Kind of surprised they didn't make that list.
Yeah, this is a weird list, but okay. South Dakota. There's a German Pilsner from Zymocracy Brewing.
They didn't think out their name.
Huh. This is another... The Fix is in on this list, even. There's one rating of this beer on Beer Advocate.
Wow.
And there's only 53 on Untapped.
Yeah, they got some insider info or something.
What did you have for South Dakota on your list?
Sodank IPA from Lost Cabin Beer Company.
Huh. Okay.
All right, definitely some sleeper picks.
Yeah. Okay, Tennessee from Bearded Iris Brewing. It's their oat IPA called Homestyle.
Yeah, Bearded Iris. I feel like they have some really good IPAs too. That's a great brewery. I see their stuff on Tavor a lot. I have Wiseacre Brewing Astronaut Status, which is a stout.
Okay.
Wiseacre is another one I see a lot.
Ooh, I love what they picked for Texas.
What's that?
Electric Jellyfish from Pint House Pizza.
Oh my gosh, what a boring pick.
That beer's amazing. See, you get to drink it all the time, so you don't care. But you brought me a 4-pack, and I was sad to drink it all.
I've been to Pint House. I basically go like once a month at least, so
Yeah.
probably 15 to 20 times over the last year. And I don't think I've ever ordered an electric jellyfish.
What do you get?
There's just always something else. There's always some
they're
other,
making something
either
else.
like during the summer they had a few gozas that were really good, or they have some other like double IPA or triple IPA. They have a triple IPA called Cactus Blaster that's so good. It's so good.
I'm sure it's how I take Pliny the Elder for granted. I can walk into any grocery store and there's like hundreds of bottles of it, and I'm like, meh. So grass is always greener, or like you always desire what you can't have. But I really liked Electric Jellyfish.
I like the Texas beer that's on my list, which is Atrial Rubicite. from Jessica
Oh,
King.
which we had for our Thanksgiving toast.
Yeah, and it was so good.
That was a peak experience.
Yeah, that was really like what it means to make a true wild ale
World
style.
class.
Yeah,
I had
it's-
100 on Beer Advocate.
Yeah.
I want to drink another one of those. Next year, you got to go get me another one.
Yeah.
Okay, Utah from Epic Brewing Company. I've had this, I think. Big Bad Baptist.
Yeah, it's the same one on my list too.
Yeah.
They don't have much good beer to choose from in Utah either.
Shots fired. I think this is a really good beer. It has a 97. Yeah,
Wow.
I've definitely had this. The bottle is very familiar to me. I don't remember if I liked it. Probably did. Ooh, Vermont. Another beer on my hit list. Have you had this too? Heady Topper, The Alchemist.
Never had it.
I want this beer so
No.
bad.
It's one
This
of the
is
last remaining
truly-
white whales on my list.
Yeah. All right. So no question there. That makes sense. The fifth highest ranked IPA. No, the number one ranked IPA. The fifth highest ranked beer on Beer Advocate. Okay, that makes sense. Vermont killing it with the Alchemist.
No contest.
Virginia Triple Cross Brewing Falcon Smash American IPA. I've never heard of this place.
What I want to know is what's on your Washington list.
Oh, okay. Washington Fremont Brewing Lush IPA.
Oh, okay.
We tried this when we were there.
Yeah, we definitely had Lush. Yeah, it's good.
What's on yours?
Fremont, but it's their coffee cinnamon bee bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
bee bomb
I feel
series
Yeah.
is kind of untouchable. I mean, Rusty Nail, I think, I don't know if it rates higher, but the bee bomb is such a solid series.
When you say Fremont Brewing, I just think like stouts. I don't know. I don't think of their IPA.
No, me
Think of
neither.
stout, strong ale. All their just crazy. I don't know. They make crazy stuff up there.
Yep. But
Okay.
that's another very highly competitive state. I mean,
Market. Yeah.
man, like how do you pick the best beer out of Washington?
It's tricky.
Gotta have some runners up.
Can only be one per state. Washington, D.C. 3 Stars Brewing Company. Can't you see the sunshine? Fruited sour.
Oh, fruited sour, huh? Sleeper pick.
Sleeper pick. Never
So
heard
many
of it.
sleeper picks on your list.
I know. West Virginia. Well, what's on your list for Washington, D.C.?
Oh, it was
I mean,
listed as District of Columbia, so it's like way at the top of my list.
I mean,
On the wings of Armageddon from DC Brow Brewing
Okay.
IPA.
This is another this is a low surface area.
Yeah, that's
So-
not fair.
They're a tiny place, so they don't have it's tricky. Okay, West Virginia, Greenbrier Valley Brewing. They have an IPA called Devil Ants. Never heard of that.
Well, then the last interesting state on this list is Wisconsin.
Of course, New
Of
Glarus Spotted Cow Farmhouse Ale, which is the only beer I've had from
Maybe-
New Glarus.
Wait, have you had Spotted Cow?
No, I wish.
You've had the cherry,
I had the Belgian Red.
Belgian red. Well, maybe Spotted Cow is your saison.
Nope. Oh, maybe. It's a
That
farmhouse.
Yeah, maybe it counts as a saison. I'm not sure.
It's listed as a Saison.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
See,
Okay,
just
I'm
need
gonna
you gotta drink some Spotted Cow from Wisconsin. You'll love it.
Someone needs to send me a bunch of Spotted Cow. Because I think this comes in like 6 packs. I'm just going to drink it until I like it. All right, I need a Patreon.
And then there's Wyoming at the end of the list, but
Why do you say it like that?
I don't know because it's not that interesting.
That's where we're going to retire to.
Wyoming.
Yeah, Wyoming. It's perfectly square. That's cool.
Okay.
Just, I'm telling you, right? You're Steven.
What
You're
does that
you're
mean?
not very nice to a lot of states. Okay, this is what I want you to do. Write Wyoming into Google and then just hit images. It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it's a beautiful state.
And I bet you housing prices
I'm sure.
are low. I'm retiring to Wyoming. Don't listen to Steven.
Okay.
He's a mean boy. All right, Melvin Brewing. This is what I'm going to drink at Melvin Brewing when I'm retired. Melvin Brewing, they have a double IPA, and that's what they picked for this.
Yeah, they made my list too. They're the only brewery in Wyoming.
That's it. That's all 50 states.
That's it. We made it all the way through.
Yeah, I like this list.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It gives you kind of a nice little preference. Like if you know you're gonna be in a state that you're not used to or something, it's kind of cool to look this up. Maybe you can have one of these beers, check it off your list.
Well, yeah, if anything, even if you can't make it to the brewery, if you're in the state, you could probably buy it like in the grocery store.
Yeah.
All right,
so you're welcome. This is our travel guide.
Our travel guide is look up this list.
Look up the best beer and try to get it. That's how I travel, at least.
Yeah. Okay. Well, do we have anything else to add to this?
No, that's it. Yeah, even my kids know that when we travel, they're like, do we have to go to a beer place?
Oh yeah, they're probably so bored.
Yep, sorry.
Sorry, Daddy and Mom, you gotta drink beer. You can play foosball or something.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you're from one of the states that Steven threw massive amounts of shade at, you can send your hate mail to contact.attenuation@gmail.com.
Yeah, send me some beer.
Or send us some beer. Prove us wrong.
Yeah,
Prove Steven wrong. Represent your state by sending him some beer. We're also on Instagram at attenuation.podcast. Have you posted any pictures of your brewing process yet?
Not yet.
I'll post those pictures, Steven.
Yeah, tomorrow.
The fans want to see it.
Okay.
And by fans, I mean just me.
You are my biggest fan.
I am. All right. Well, I think we've had enough fun. This has been episode 38 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
And we are saying cheers, and we will see you next week for episode 39.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a beer podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!